Hello, I am Professor B. Prakash Rao, Coordinator, MCOM Department, Tunga College, Tirthahalli. In the present video series under the subject Managerial Communication, group communication is covered in three parts, part 1, 2 and 3. In the present video number 6, I am covering some aspects of group communication. Most of the aspects covered in the present video relates to the differences between meetings, seminars and conferences and some aspects of meetings. Definition of group communication. Group communication refers to groups consisting of two or more persons who share a common goal and communicate collectively to achieve it. During group communication, interdependent participants analyze data, evaluate the nature of problem, decide and provide a positive solution or procedure. Group communication provides strong feedback, unique contributions to the group, as well as a critical thinking analysis and self disclosure from each member. The groups communicate through an interpersonal exchange process of information, feelings, and active listening. The group communication may take the shape of meetings, conferences, and seminars. Meetings, conferences, and seminars refer to an assembly of persons who come together and deliberate on topics and issues of communicable interest. Meetings and conferences have become an integral part of business. They facilitate exchange of views and constitute an important means of interactive communication. Both these interactive forums facilitate face to face discussions that take place at various levels. They may be employer employee meetings, employee employee meetings and conferences, employee customer meetings, and so on. What are the differences between seminars, conference, and a meeting? Seminars are conducted once in a while. Seminar is a gathering of people in which one or more persons give their presentation on a particular topic to enrich the knowledge of the participants of the seminar. While in a conference, all the participants usually express their views on the topic in a seminar. There are a few speakers who are experts in their own field, give their views, and the audience is gained by the same. Meetings, on the other hand, take place more often than conferences and also relate to fewer persons. Even meeting can be conducted having only two or three persons. Well, there can be a meeting of even two persons. A conference normally connotes an assembly of a large number of people. Similarly, meetings may take place any number of times during a day or a week, while conferences are normally scheduled annually, biannually, and so on. While meetings can be both pre planned and unplanned, conferences are by and large planned in advance because in seminars and conferences, normally large number of people gather together and hence it needs more planning. Meetings and seminars and conferences, while effectively organized and conducted, can play a significant role in business communication. They facilitate exchange of information, formation of alternative viewpoints, consideration on specific issues, removal of misconceptions, elaboration and clarification of concepts and ideas, finalization of plans and strategies, and review of performance. They facilitate intensive interaction with individuals as well as groups and achieve much more than any written communication. Meetings, seminars, and conferences, therefore, are to be seen as an inevitable and useful medium of interaction between people in different business and organizations. Meanings and importance of meeting. Meetings are the most popular method of interactive communication. They facilitate direct face-to-face communication and are essential at various levels in all organizations. When there are two or more persons, there is a meeting, structured or otherwise. They facilitate exchange of information, fostering of team spirit, and commitment to common goals and objectives. More importantly, they help in elaborating ideas, clarifying concepts, and clearing confusion, if any, created on account of ambiguous and incomplete verbal or written message. Misunderstandings arising from unclear memos, circulars, directives, targets, etc., can be cleared through meetings with the people concerned. For example, for a sales group, if some targets are assigned, if some circulars are sent for achieving their targets, or the directives are given, and if meetings are conducted, their targets, directives, or confusions in memos, circulars can be clarified. Meetings of marketing people with prospective customers while launching a new product or service help in bringing out the future of the product by clarifying the finer points. When there is a meeting of marketing people, sales people, when a new product is launched, the finer points that should be highlighted may be brought into the notice of all the participants, and that will help the participants, the sales force, to bring out all the finer points relating to the product or service before the customers. In fact, on a regular basis, there can be customer meets, dealer meets, manager meets, staff meetings, association meetings, business meets, review meets, and so on. There are various committees in the organizations like the purchase committee, sales committee, internal audit committee, executive committee, management committee, promotions committee, systems committee, and legal committee conduct meetings on regular basis to find consensus for taking decisions. In any organizations, according to requirement or types of activities, different committees will be there, and the concerned persons relating to the committee discuss together about different issues and come to consensus about taking certain vital decisions relating to the activities of the organization. While meetings which are effective contribute to decision making and result in positive outcome, ill-conceived and haphazardly conducted meetings are just waste of time, effort, and resources. They may be There may be confusion or chaos. It would therefore be essential to give attention to certain details while convening meetings. The preparation for an effective meeting starts well in advance, so meeting must be planned in advance. There is much to be attended on the day of meeting, during the meeting, and thereafter till the minutes are drawn up. So the planning regarding conducting the meeting and during the meeting and thereafter till the minutes are drawn up, everything must be attended systematically. Purposes and golden rules for conducting meetings. The following are the important purposes for holding meetings in business organizations. To save time in communication, instead of talking to each person of the organization, a meeting may be called and the message may be conveyed to all the persons. That saves time. To instruct a group for specific purpose, that is briefing. To communicate to a large number of people, when meeting is convened, the member may be given the tasks and the purpose of conducting the meeting is explained. That helps in communicating communicating with each member the tasks or otherwise. They discuss to discuss and solve problems relating to the business, to resolve conflicts, confusion, and disagreement among interest groups, to give and get new ideas and immediate reactions, to generate enthusiasm and positive attitude, to arrive at consensus on issues, to learn from others and to train others. So these are the purposes for calling meeting. There are certain golden rules with respect to conducting meetings. The meeting should be convened only when it is essential. It happens in business organizations or in any organization that meetings are conducted on regular basis, and there may not be any issues or purpose for calling the meetings. So such meetings may be waste of time. So the meeting should be convened when it is essential or on occasional basis to uh, conduct the meeting for having certain purposes. The meeting should have time schedule and must begin and end on time. Unless there is time management, the members may not be interested in attending the meetings. They must have clear and specific agenda and sub-agenda. Each meeting should have agenda to be discussed and on what issues consensus are to be drawn that must be known to the members. Time limit should be specified for each item of the agenda and sub-agenda. Unless time is specified for each item, time management may not be possible. The notice of the meeting should be sent well in time before the meeting to those who are required to attend the meeting and can make useful contributions. This sending of meeting notice will help the members to prepare themselves for the meeting and also attend the meeting conveniently. Conclusions of a meeting is summarized so that each one understands the summary of the proceedings. At the end of the meeting, the discussion should be concluded on a pleasant note, and what is concluded, what decisions are drawn up, that should be conveyed to the members. Action-oriented minutes should be prepared and circulated after the meeting. At the end, resolutions will be passed, and such resolutions, which may be in the form of minutes, that should be circulated among the members. Meeting should be closed on a pleasant note. Normally, when people gather together because of different opinions, conflicts, and noise may be there in the meeting, and at the end at least the meeting should be closed on a pleasant note, having come to certain conclusions or decisions. This is end of part 1 of group communication. In part 2 I may explain more things about meetings, and in part 3 I may explain about seminar and conferences. Thank you for listening.